Good evening, everyone. We are here. It is Wednesday. It's 8 o'clock. It's the TNG review show. Yay! Whoop, whoop. Sean has all the specs and diagrams at home. That's good, Sean. It's
funny.
It's good that he's come prepared.
Thank you, Mr. Rojenko.
That's right.
Coughing well.
Coughing well. Still unwell. Over it pretty much. But still not quite at full fighting condition at the moment. I'm a bit sorry. I'm rushing today, and I'm a little bit blurred. I'm just got to look at the. Do apologise. Just sorting my camera out. Usually sort all these things out before going live, but there we go. Hopefully, I'm a little less blurry now.
You look beautiful.
Beautiful. You can see the whiteness in my beard properly now. That's the main thing. Good evening, Mazza McBob. How are you?
Good evening, Mr. Monteban. I am good, thank you.
I have put in my WhatsApp chat to Crystal Karen to remind her the TNG review show this evening.
She's here, Serenity.
Hey, Serenity Retreat.
Monty?
I like the fact that she's she's on the Serenity Retreat account. I like that.
Yeah.
I am feeling a lot better. I'm feeling a lot better than I was last week. It's still kind of lingering, but I'm feeling much better. Yes, it's all been a bit hectic today, isn't it, Maz? In our lives.
A bit, yeah.
We're kind of putting this one together with sticky back plastic and some duct tape.
My notes consist of this. I think gappy would be the best way I could put it. But I did do my research and I have read through all of that, so
well that's good. Mine is very much consisting of a heavily edited version of Memory Alpha. So we'll see how it goes. Because we haven't had the time, but it's going to be good anyway. Sometimes these ones where we're kind of winging it, it's kind of becomes even better. But who knows? Oh, I see. Look, we've got Stu Plum on, so good evening to you, Stu Plum. I say Sean's already on with his specs and diagrams already. Serenity Retreat is here, aka Crystal Karen, and Mickey. Good evening, Mickey. You're on also. It's good to have you all on board this evening. The channel, The Vault, is up to I can't remember what it's up to now. It's up to like 330 subscribers now. It's I can't. Did I?
Let me go see. I'll check for you.
Oh, thank you. Yes, but it's or 320, possibly 320 subscribers. So it's really going well. So thank you everyone who's 319. Thank you, Smiler Rainbow.
Yeah.
Got a bit over enthusiastic with the 330 there, and I was just wishful thinking on my part. But yeah, thank you to all those who've recently subscribed. It's been great. So, but and I just want a little plug before we begin. Today is World Tarot Card Day. So, to all you tarot card readers out there, a happy Tarot Card Day, and to mark this special day on the Monty Zone on Friday, myself and G-Star are having live tarot card readings done by a psychic tarot card reader. So we're looking forward to that on the week it's World Tarot Card Day. So pretty cool.
And we did have a clash of dinner, but we have rearranged the booking for another week's time.
Many thanks, Maz, for rearranging and making that all possible.
My pleasure.
So yeah, if you haven't heard enough of my croaky bug-laden voice this evening, then you feel free to come and do it all again on Friday. G-Star's dropping the tarot cards around tomorrow because I've got to actually handle them and we've got
So that I can
instructions.
choose them and
We've got
things like that.
instructions of what to do and bag it all up. So I'll be going through that tomorrow and then handing it over so we can do it over the live chat on Friday or in the studio. So
Very good.
yes, very exciting. But enough of that. Tonight we are here to discuss Star Trek: The Next Generation, in particular Season 4's episode Family. We are putting family in the vault this evening. Where else would you put family but in the vault?
As long as you let them out every now and then. Just to
That's
have a run
right.
around.
Just have a run around and get some fresh air. I'm just getting some warnings of memory, so I'm just freeing up. Do I need Teams open? No.
No.
Do I need that open? No. Close everything.
So this one's quite interesting because it sort of continues from where we were at. So, I mean, it was originally written as like a separate story, but most people, a lot of people now think of it almost as like a Best of Both Worlds Part 3.
Best of Both Worlds Part 3. It is kind of like that, isn't it? But it is episode 2 of season 4. It's production number... did I get that production number right? I'm not sure I did. Oh, yeah, I did. It's 40274-178. It first aired... Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, do we have a trailer for this one this week?
We do indeed. All right.
First aired, I didn't mean to.
It first aired the 1st of October, so right next to my birthday in 1990. The day before my 15th birthday.
Yeah.
And finally, it was the 77th episode to be produced, but the 75th to be released. So there's 2 more episodes made before this one, even though this was the one that was released after Best of Both Worlds Part 1 and 2.
And do you know what 2 those are, I presume?
Nope. Off the top of my head. Do you want me to find out?
I've got to find it in my notes.
Have you got it?
It's here somewhere. I'll tell you in a minute. Oh, this was... no, I lie. Anyway, I'll tell you in a minute after we've watched the thingy.
Yeah. We'll circle round to that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was written by Ronald D. Moore, who we've Chewie's incoming. There you go, Karen. Here's a choo-choo. He's
cutie patootie.
He's starting to feel a bit better from his operation. So that's good.
Bless.
Yes, it was written by Ronald D. Moore, who we've talked about many times before. This was the 5th episode that he's written of 29. And it was directed by Les Lando. Again, we've talked about him numbers of times. This was his 21st credit in TNG of 39 in total. Now you want the trailer, don't you? Now you want the trailer.
Yes, please.
Do. Actually, I'm going to do the entire screen because also there's no pictures in memory all for this week, so I've had to put my own thing together. Here's your trailer.
Next time on Star Trek: The Next Generation, Picard faces his most difficult mission, the long journey home.
I seem to have made a rather disturbing discovery.
A family reunion takes a twisted turn,
What the devil happened to you up there?
turning brothers into bitter rivals.
I even enjoyed bullying you.
A tragic homecoming on Star Trek: The Next Generation.
A tragic homecoming. Tragic.
And it was Suddenly Human and Brothers, which were filmed before this one.
Yes, Suddenly Human. That was that's the next episode, isn't it? I'm not sure why they decided to film them around that way. Don't know if
It
it says in the production
probably.
notes.
So there was some various 2 different site on location type filming with this one. So I imagine they had to sort of organise that and secure premises and things like that. So probably the logistics around it drove the timescale, I'd imagine. But
Yeah, that makes
just a
sense.
guess.
That makes sense. They had to get out into the sort of Californian vineyards and get the matte paintings right and all that sort of thing. So
Yes.
so it was produced out of order. Pictures. So do that. There we go. First picture. There we go. So yes, all the questions tonight. There are no multiple choice, so it's open answers.
Holy.
You know, I like to swap things around every now and again.
Mixing it up.
Keep people on their toes. You're going to have to say to me, because I'm doing the picture on that screen, you've got to remind me if the chat stops.
We'll try.
Yeah. Oh, I just realised the chat is actually stuck over there. Oh, gosh. Here we go. I don't want that there. We want that there. There we go. How's that? Does that look better? That looks better. There we go. We don't want the chat on the screen 3 times.
No, that would be bad.
Okay.
Cough, coffee.
Cough. Here we go. Eyes down, looking. The teaser. The Enterprise remains docked at McKinley Station, undergoing a major overhaul and refit following the Borg incident. So there it is. Maria, what model are we looking at there?
I would say that would have to be the 4-foot model.
It's the 4-foot model. Yes. Oh, why?
Thick outer edge, etc. Plus, we just said the other day that the 6-foot model was used for its last new shot, didn't we?
That's true.
It's only used in reshoot thingies from.
And that was a new shot. We've not seen it in the McKinley Station before.
Oh no.
So yes. In the observation lounge, Worf reports that phases have been upgraded, and Riker tells Worf he's looking forward to meeting his parents. Worf's surprised, as he didn't know they were coming on board. He thinks it's inappropriate for family to visit whilst he's on duty. But Riker's like, it's tough. This ain't a Klingon ship. Riker asks if his reluctance to see them is down to his dishonour. But Worf says they already know about that, and in any case, no human would understand what he's going through. But the question is, question number 1 for the teaser, what episode did Worf lose his honour? What was the episode name that Worf lost his honour? There you go. Gone straight in for quite a toughie. If you think you definitely know, you might want to hang on to your answer. Yeah. But we'll see.
So I know we haven't watched the whole episode yet, but this is one of only a very few number of TNG episodes that has no scenes on the bridge.
Really? No, it didn't, did it? Not one.
No.
That's
the other
rare.
ones are Shades of Grey, that horrible clip show.
Yeah.
Liaisons and Dark Page. Those are the only other 3 episodes, apparently. There you go.
Oh, by the way, I have some blood wine this evening.
Oh, so do I. I have a Yellowtail Malbec. What do you have?
I have something that's absolutely delish. I don't know what it is. El Bombero.
El Bombero. The bomb.
Yeah, El Bombero. 2020.
Where'd you get that?
I got it from my wine rack.
Oh, nice.
So it's a present from someone at some point. It's very nice. It's very nice.
El Bombero.
El Bombero.
I'm going to look that one up.
Meanwhile, Picard's packing to return home to France. Deanna thinks it's strange that Picard wants to return home now after 20 years of travelling around the galaxy. Picard thanks her for all the help she's been giving him over his issues with being assimilated. But he says he's fine now. Even the nightmares have stopped. He's going home to find himself, and where better to do that on the streets of his own village. On leaving his quarters, he looks back as though he's leaving his quarters for the last time. And that was the end of the teaser. It keeps you guessing, doesn't it? It's like, ooh, is he leaving the Enterprise for the last time? We had the whole through Best of Both Worlds. Is this it? Is this Picard? He's become a Borg and he's going off. And now it's...
And is Riker going to leave? And now is he going to jack it in?
Yeah.
They like to keep us on tenterhooks.
They do. So, have we got any answers in for the questions?
We have 2 answers.
You have 2 answers. Wow. Come on, quickly get your answers in.
We said about it being shot in 2 places. So there's a farm near Lancaster, California, and a private home in Encino. So I think the farm was probably the outdoor shots, and then the home were like the manor sort of shots. And then they, as you say, they used a combination of matte painting and digital effects to kind of try and, merge the backdrops of the 2 locations. I think it's done quite well, to be fair. I think they create quite a good illusion of a nice place.
Yeah.
Somewhere I wouldn't mind living.
It is nice.
Can you imagine? When are we going to retire and get our own vineyard? That seems like something we should really do.
Well, it seems like people like to, buy a chateau in France, don't they? A crumbling castle. And I like that guy from Junkyard Wars, or whoever it was that did that, and made like a series of him renovating this like castle thing. Really good.
Sounds like a plan. And the other thing about this episode, in terms of its conception, is they did want to. There was some argument about, can we just go back to our next week, next storyline, everything's fine again? And there was a lot of debate back and forth with the writing crew, and they really thought it would seem completely unrealistic to just act like that had never happened, and that they needed to somehow acknowledge it. And, like obviously Picard's got a little thing on his head there. They wanted to sort of show the end of his healing process on screen, and by the end of the episode, he doesn't have a mark on his head anymore. So it's sort of metaphorical of his psychological healing as well. But Gene Roddenberry was really, really against this episode. I don't know if you know that.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he had like a massive issue with it. He said there's no action, there's no sci-fi, there's no aliens. This is not a soap opera. Really didn't think it fit with the whole sci-fi genre. And basically Michael Piller got back in to go ahead and and film it, and was glad they did, because they really liked the outcome of it. But it's funny how in one piece of trivia there were some observations from, I think it was from Michael Piller, saying Gene really, really objected, and then he wrote the script for it, and then he didn't hear any more objections after that, and in fact things seemed to go smoother from then on. And then in another piece of trivia it said that Roddenberry protested to Paramount, and it was at this point that they were losing patience with his constant interference, and the board decided to force the already ill Roddenberry to take a backseat and no further part in the production process. So that's why things seemed to get easier from then on, because they actually imposed some sort of sanction of non-interference in the future because of the amount of fuss he made. But actually, director Laz Lando said that this is his favorite among all the TNG episodes he directed. So there's a lot of people who feel really favorable about this episode, and they're really glad they did it. They really wanted to humanize, everybody. They wanted to show also this beautiful thing, Earth, which thus far was a bit of an abstract concept, what it was that everybody was trying to protect in the previous 2 episodes, to sort of put that into context and have an opportunity to just find out a little bit more backstory of Worf and Mars and some of the other characters as well. So it's good.
It looks like the people on Earth live in Victorian times.
Yeah, certainly on that farm. It's like we've preserved the farm, to be like it was in ancient times. Oh, and we thought we'd dress that way as well.
Yeah, like even looks old to us.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Yeah.
don't know. It's just weird. But
Maybe that kind of fashion will come back in a few hundred years'
maybe.
time.
Picard was wearing like virgining on MC Hammer baggy trousers at one point.
Yeah, they're kind of like joppers. They're a little bit like what he wore in at Riser, though, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, he seems to, when he's off duty, he likes wearing these like
That's his
MC Hammer
style.
pants.
Yeah.
Sean thinks we're better off staying in the south of England as because of due to global warming, we'll be able to make better wine than France. Which, you know, we have some great white wine vineyards, like Camel Valley makes great wine. It's really nice.
Yeah, I mean, we could definitely set up a vineyard in this country. I would not be opposed to that idea.
We're not so good at the red wine.
No,
red wine doesn't work
that's
here at the
true.
moment. Maybe with a bit
But
more
we
global warming might work, but not at the moment.
We could make a nice Cornish champagne, though. That'd be cool.
Yes. Court Cornwall
Yes.
doesn't have the same ring to it, does it? Cornwall, though. Should I get out a bottle of Cornwall?
Well, that's what it's called, though.
I know.
It's fine.
I know. That's what it's
Doesn't
called.
bother me.
No.
But if we were to put something around here, though, we'd have to call it a bottle of Devon, right?
A bottle of Devon definitely doesn't sound. It sounds like it would be sort of like something either cheesy or creamy or something.
Sparkling Devon.
Sparkling cream. Karen pointed out Escape to the Chateau is the program I was talking about.
Ah, yeah.
Yes, it is good. If you haven't seen that, watch it. It's very watchable. Yeah.
And Sean says, and of course, when Picard remembers the house in a flashback in Picard's season 2, it looks exactly the same as it does in this episode.
Yeah.
I wonder why that is. Probably reuse of footage, I imagine.
Yeah. Does it look exactly
Oh, no, because
the
he's
same?
actually based there, isn't he?
It looks-
Yeah, he starts off based in this chateau, doesn't he?
I don't think it does look the same. It doesn't look the
Oh, I don't
same.
know.
No. Anyway, where was I? Oh, yes. Answers. The quiz.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, remember that? Remember that little thing?
Yeah, we have 2 answers.
Oh,
Only
cool.
2 players
Well,
so far.
Mickey, Karen, Stu Plum can't remember. Sean didn't answer. Sean, you didn't answer. You got to answer.
Maybe he doesn't know either. That's the problem without multiple choice, is if you don't know.
I
like, what
know.
you're right.
I'm gone. I've been really cruel this evening. I've been really cruel. So the answers.
So, Mickey and Kaz. Are they right?
The
How
question
many
is, what
points?
episode did Worf lose his honor? Right, I'll give you 30 seconds. Do 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 do.
Who are you saying that to?
Sean.
Oh, Sean says, oops, missed the question.
Do. Right, Sean, get your answer in the chat. Because the answer is... I can hear myself feeding back off your mic a little bit. I don't know why. Civil War? No, it was Sins of the Father. So Mickey and Karen, though I'm pretty sure Karen just copied Mickey. You get the...
How many points is that?
What's that? 20 points? Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Done.
Done.
We're off and rolling.
We're off and rolling our way into Act 1. This is as good as a picture I could get for this scene.
Elcars.
Elcars, yeah, it's a good
Nice
good
little
HD.
picture of Elcars.
You can actually, it's one of those rare shots that you can actually read all the little labels on it and stuff. Worf arrives in the transporter room to receive his parents. He's fretting as they are not on time. O'Brien tells Worf that he understands. The last time his father was on board, O'Brien caught him chasing Nurse Stanton around a biobed. Worf said he's not concerned his father's going to do something like that. I did feel for Nurse Stanton because, like, in Memory Alpha or Wikipedia, her name's highlighted in blue, and so you click on it, and it just says, at some point, O'Brien's dad chased her around a biobed. So that's all the information we
Her
have.
entire biography.
That's her entire career on the flagship of the Enterprise is recorded in Wikipedia as O'Brien chased her around O'Brien's dad chased her around a biobed. What O'Brien's dad was thinking as he was chasing Nurse Stanton around a biobed, we'll never know. But there you go. The Rosenkos materialise, and they're really pleased to see Worf. It's so really cute to see them. They're like, oh, Worf. That looks really cute. Sergei asks him if he's put on some weight, which Worf denies, and he tells Worf that he looks good. It looks good on him anyway. Sergei then introduces himself to O'Brien as he recognises as a fellow Chief Petty Officer. He introduces himself as Sergei Rosenko, formerly of the USS Intrepid. Sergei tells Worf that he wants to see the whole ship, having all the specs on the Galaxy-class starship at home. Worf tells him that they are in the midst of repairs, so he cannot give Sergei the full tour. Helena gently reminds Sergei that they promised not to embarrass Worf because they've come here to see him and not the ship. Worf takes them off to their quarters. Come on, picture.
So this is...
There we go.
I can't find my actual notes on it, but this is the first time where O'Brien gets fully named with his full name and also ranked. Like, he's never been referred to by his full name or rank before. So, yeah, we find out he's Miles Edward O'Brien and he's Chief Petty Officer. He's wearing the same sort of 2 pips like Worf, though. Apparently, the amount of pips that O'Brien has over the series for Chief Petty Officer role sort of changes a bit. There's a bit of miscontinuity there. Not that I've noticed, but we can have a look out for it. But 2 pips in this episode.
2 pips. Yep. He recognises the pips. Sean, the 2-parter on the Klingon where Picard delivers the great line, "You may test that assumption at your convenience." Yep, that's correct. It was Sins of a Father. It's not a 2-parter, though. It's just a 1-part episode. Just 1-parter. Right, on Earth, Picard walks to Chateau Picard. I call it Chateau Picard in this. It's not called Chateau Picard in the episode, but it's just what it's known as in the future, so that's what I call it. He gets up. He gets held up by a highwayman who turns out to be his little nephew, Rene.
Or his uncle.
Rene first calls him Picard, his nephew, so Picard seems it must mean that you are Uncle Rene. Rene asks why he never comes home, because I'm busy. Rene says, Dad says his uncle doesn't come home because he doesn't like it here. But you don't seem arrogant to me, he says. He then asks Picard, what does it mean anyway? He's an arrogant son of a... And Picard stops him at that point and says, well, we'll talk about that later. Upon arriving at the house, Picard meets his sister-in-law, Marie. Picard offers to stay in town, fearing maybe an imposition, but Marie refuses, telling him the house is as much his home as it is theirs, and that's all there is to it. Picard then notes how the family home and land look exactly as it did when he was a boy. Marie tells him that keeping it that way is very important to Robert. And Picard says it was so for their father too. Picard then goes to find his older brother out tending the vines. Which leads us to question 2. And this is a missing word round. As Picard walks up to Robert in the vineyard, Robert greets him coldly, telling him, well, so you've arrived at last. Welcome home, blank. What does he call him? He says, well, so you've arrived at last. Welcome home, blank. But what is that blank word?
When this was released, it was the lowest rated episode of the 4th season. But it has become quite a fan favourite since then.
Do you know what? I have to say, and I've got to admit this, hold my hand up. I never really liked this episode. I always thought it was boring, and like like you're saying
Now
earlier.
you're an old man as well.
Yeah.
With your wine.
Yeah, it was just like, he was saying, it's just like too melodramatic and not enough sci-fi and all those sort of things. I always felt that sort of thing about it, but now watching it back as I'm old, I absolutely loved it. But anyway, we'll get to the scoring later on, but yeah, my thoughts on this episode have changed profoundly, as they do with some Star Trek episodes. It's one of those things. So we're getting the answers in. Let me just finish the act, and then we'll come back. We'll come back to the answers. So Robert asked if he shuttled in. Picard said no, he walked from the village. There's a very tense moment between the two brothers who clearly have not had any pleasant feelings for each other for many years. Jean-Luc tells Robert he met Renee and Marie and that it's good to see him. But he gets very little response from his brother. Robert tells Jean-Luc to make himself at home, since he knows where everything is. Robert mentions that they usually eat around 8 p.m. He tells Jean-Luc he'll see him after he is cured this sick vine. Robert then turns back to complete his work, and Jean-Luc returns to the family house. And that was the end of Act 1.
Very cool.
Sean says, coming on the back of Best of Both Worlds Part 1 and 2, it kind of was bound to be received poorly because it's kind of like that come down, like from what at the time was such a profound episode.
Yeah, totally. And for those fans at the time who were expecting and wanting more action and blasting and starships getting blown up, it definitely wasn't that.
No.
But, I think on balance, when you look at it, Star Trek as a whole piece, I think it's a well-honed piece that fits its place very well for what it's demonstrating and, showing that value of what they're fighting for.
Yeah. And I think it's just looking at it from the point of view of all of the characters getting together and sharing a bit of their family relationships. He's got the Worf arcing back to
Great opportunity for backstory.
He's going back to his backstory of dishonor and how that works in his family. Picard and his everything he's been through the assimilation process and going back to his family, and Wesley losing his father and going back to that and sort of closing some of those threads off. It sort of pulls all those different storylines and backstories in and just makes the whole TNG cast and feel richer.
It was actually nominated for an Emmy Award for Outstanding Cinematography for a series, which shows even without all the special effects, they still get props for the visualizations within the episode.
Yeah. So, should we go to the answers for the second question?
Yar.
Hopefully we've got some answers
We got
in.
Uncle, Buggerface, Brother, and Mate.
Sean said Captain. Captain, Uncle, Buggerface, Brother, Mate.
It's going to be a low-scoring week, folks.
It's going to be a low-scoring week. So for, what was it, 50 points, this one, is it? Or is
I don't know. It's usually 40.
40, sorry, 40. 40 points then goes to, is it going to go to anyone? It's going to Sean for Captain.
Hey.
Yes.
Well done, Sean.
Well, so you arrive at last. Welcome home, Captain. Yeah.
So the Worf's parents apparently were known for their work in Yiddish theatre, and there were some concerns that they would be too stereotyped or comedic or what have you. But again, I think they play such lovely roles. I think they do it so well. It's really quite touching. I think they were
It
good
is.
choices. And also Theodore Bikel playing Worf's father, and Samantha Egger playing Picard's sister-in-law. Also appeared together as a married couple in Colombo. So they've worked on other things about 13 years previously.
On to Act 2. On board the Enterprise, Dr. Crusher's talking to Troy in her quarters about her plans to visit Angel Falls in Venezuela with Riker. Or is Troy talking to Crusher? Right. Anyway, when she receives a suitcase belonging to her late husband Jack, she tells Troy that she had stored it on Earth after Jack died. She pulls out Jack's uniform, a white piece of lace, and a book called How to Advance Your Career Through Marriage, which was a joke from Jack that was his way of proposing to her. She then pulls out a holographic message from Jack meant for Wesley, recorded just after Wesley was born. Intending to give it to him after Wesley grew up, according to Beverly, Jack intended to make many more over Wesley's lifetime, but obviously didn't get the chance. Troy asks Crusher if she's afraid what the message may say. She says she isn't. She's just afraid since Wesley's actually come to terms now with his father's death that the holo message may do more harm than good. Troy tells her Wesley has many questions that Beverly can't answer and suggests that maybe the holo message would help him understand more. In engineering, the Forge and Worf are giving the Rozhenkos the tour through the engineering section. I've got the couple of pictures here. There's one of the people with an isolinear chip bay open, and he's using the same little probe thing that, what's her name in the last episode? Shelby used on the planet to scan for the Borg footprint. Anyway, I said we'd see this device again many times in engineering. Little did I know that it would be the next episode. There it is. Sergi tells...
Looks slightly phallic.
It does a bit, doesn't it? I don't know what they were thinking when they designed that one.
A little bit.
You see them fondling it. You see them fondling it in engineering all the time. Sergi tells the Forge a story about how they were called to school after Worf, at the age of 7, got into a fight with 5 teenage boys, and he beat them all up. The Forge laughs. Sounds like Worf. And Helena tells him the principal begged them to tell him whether any more would be coming. But of course there wouldn't be. Question number 3. What is the nickname given to the table in the middle of engineering? So this is the base of it. This is the back part of this table in the middle of engineering with its cover open. But this table in the middle of engineering, what is its nickname? KD Fitness says zap zap with the computer ray gun.
Can you remember, Captain?
You can't remember. That's unusual for KD Fitness to come in and comment. Good evening to you, Chris.
Yeah, well, he's not on his Wednesday evenings training anymore, but he is in residential training for his new whole-time firefighter role. So,
congrats.
yeah, it's nice that he can join us.
Yes, and I hope you had a lovely birthday on the weekend.
Yeah.
Did he like his presents?
He did like his presents very much, yeah. And he had a lot of lovely drinkies as well.
Oh, did he? I bet.
Fell over a lot. Yeah. Bless.
Yeah. It's a reuse of a prop from the motion picture and Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home. Yes. Yeah, that table. But what's its nickname? Okay, so next picture in engineering. Here we go. You can see the table. Here it is. This panel on the wall's open, and you can see like all the circuitry behind it. That's the first time we ever see that panel open like that. as they're refitting.
Oh.
Just an interesting aside.
Nice.
Yeah, it's 4. Yes, Star Trek 4. It's got a monitor sunk in it, and they talk to Kirk as he's approaching on the Klingon warbird. Yeah, there. After Helena stops Sergei from telling LaForge another story, Sergei asks LaForge to show him the new engine core, as he used to be a warp field specialist on an old Excelsior-class starship. Helena asks Worf to show her the Arboretum. After they leave, LaForge starts to talk to Sergei about the engine core and Theta Matrix compositors, but Sergei stops him after Worf leaves and asks him about Worf. Sergei is clearly concerned about his adopted son.
This episode actually had some other working titles. I don't know if you're aware. There was Road Not Taken, and then later Crossroads, and it stayed Crossroads quite a while, and then finally got renamed as Family. That's a nice shot.
You remember the episode on Order to Set the Self-Destruct, and Riker and Picard have to go all the way to the table to set it? It made perfect sense. Yes. I think it was 11001001, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, I think that was.
Yeah, in series 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, a little bit of a paragraph here. Back on the planet, Picard is sitting down to the evening meal. Marie tells Jean-Luc that his old friend Louis left a message. They'd very much like to see Jean-Luc as soon as he's settled. Louis is now a supervisor on the Atlantis project, which is a project creating another subcontinent on Earth. Robert thinks it's pointless, but Jean-Luc thinks it's quite an exciting idea. Marie tells Jean-Luc that the mayor wants to give him a parade and the key to the city, but Jean-Luc refuses, saying he's here to rest and spend time with his family. After a toast to Marie, the family begins to eat. Jean-Luc asks Robert if the wine they're drinking is the 46, so Robert tells him it's the 47. He accuses him of drinking too much synthahol, and that it's ruined his palate. But Jean-Luc thinks synthahol does nothing but heighten one's appreciation.
According to the script, the family were eating French onion soup. Not that ever features in the actual story, but
French onion
that's
soup,
what it says in the written script.
rustic French bread, and red wine. Lovely.
Ah.
Robert says that thanks to technology, even cooking is becoming a lost art. And they've had several discussions about getting a replicator in the house. And Robert says he feels like, just like their father, with all technology, there's a real danger of losing those values which humanity holds most precious. Jean-Luc says that you shouldn't have to lose anything just by adding a piece of convenience. But Robert thinks that life's already too convenient. Rene, trying to lighten the mood, tells Jean-Luc he wrote a report on starships and won a ribbon for it. Jean-Luc says, well, I wrote a report on starships when I was your age as well. Rene asks him if he won a ribbon, and Jean-Luc says he doesn't recall. But to which Robert adds, of course he won the ribbon. He always won the ribbon. Rene goes to get his report for Jean-Luc to read, and after he leaves, Robert starts to yell at Jean-Luc that it's hard enough for him to protect his son from all that's out there without Jean-Luc encouraging him. Jean-Luc denies that he's encouraging Rene and suggests if Robert wasn't so closed-minded that he'd allowed Rene to see the world as it really is. But Robert tells Jean-Luc he will raise his son as he sees fit. It was a 47. A 47 wine year. So you got to get a 47 in there somehow, I suppose. Maria, you there?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that is a 47. I was thinking, I thought it was the one that the one that his brother gave to him was a 47.
Yeah.
But even though he's saying about Picard hadn't been there for 20 years, but that doesn't mean that the vineyard wasn't making
No.
wine that year.
I don't know.
This is not a 47.
No, mine's a 20.
This is
20.
probably a, yeah, mine's probably the same.
Right, going back to the question then. What was the nickname given to the table in the middle of engineering? Have we got any answers? Engineering stat comport 12?
Kaz says tennis table. Stuplum says table.
Table. That's a restaurant.
It is a restaurant.
Did nobody say pool
Don't
table?
think anybody knows unless any of those guesses
Oh,
are right.
Sean. Sean said pool table. All the way up.
Oh, yeah, pool table.
And it was pool table. It's known as the pool table.
60 points.
60 points for Sean, yeah.
So Sean's currently in the lead with 100. Mickey and Kaz are on 20. Stu and me are on big fat 0.
Oh, sorry. I've made it really hard this week.
That's fine. Don't mind.
Right, Act 3 then. Oh, was there any other goofs, trivs?
Well, there's quite a lot of stuff about Robert and stuff. I mean, for a start, there's the pronunciation where he uses where Picard uses Robert once and Robert the rest of the times, and he also calls Lewis and not Louis at one point. So yeah, it's just a bit of a. You think people close to you like that, you'd get the pronunciation of their names correct every time. This is also the only time where Robert and Renee are seen. There is a reference to them in a later episode, and you see them in a picture, but it's actually different actors posed for that picture.
Yeah. Yes, they're mentioned in Generations. Very sad, very sad. Right, Act 3 then. The next day, Jean-Luc and his mate Louis are walking through the vineyard. They talk about how Picard is pleased, how his family are upholding the traditions, but that he doesn't feel personally bound by it. Louis points out that Jean-Luc looks to the future where Robert looks to the past. Jean-Luc laments that there should be room for both views. Jean-Luc asks Louis about his promotion. Louis tells him he's only one of about 200 supervisors on the project, though his wife would have everyone believe he runs the whole project. Picard ploughs Louis with technical questions about the mantle and tectonic plates and offers up suggestions from his experience on the Enterprise. Louis tells Jean-Luc that they are looking for someone to take over the project, and he would have suggested him, but of course, you'd never leave Starfleet, would you, Picard? And, Jean-Luc says, no, I'd never leave Starfleet. But, he looks surprisingly unsure. Louis then offers to send some information for Jean-Luc to look over. He agrees to peruse the information and provide any thoughts he has on the problems. Picture.
Sean's pointed out that the Rene actor later plays young Picard, which is true. And also in this episode, he does say, someday I'll be leaving for my own starship, which is kind of like a coincidental foreshadowing that at some point that kid is on his own starship, actually captain of a starship.
Rascals.
Yes, 1992.
Oh, look at that. Yeah. In 10 forward, Worf and the Rosenkos are sharing a drink. They tell Worf that the crew think the world of him. Worf wishes they would be more reserved. They confess that they can go a bit far sometimes. Worf gets called away, and Anna finally gets up and is visibly upset. And although Sergi suggests leaving it alone, she says how can she She's Worf's mother. She cannot leave it alone. They both end up staring out of the front window, which leads Guinan over and tells them everyone who goes into 10 forward ends up looking out of that window, trying to find the star they call home. Guinan sits down and asks them why they never gave Worf prune juice. They're shocked to learn he drinks the stuff. Sergei said all he would ever eat was Klingon food. So, Helena, question 4. Helena, even learned to cook what? Klingon food, even though they never learned how to eat it. So what Klingon food did the Rashenkos cook Worf, even though they never learned how to eat it? That's your 4th question.
I think Sean's also trying to wind you up by maybe making references to, what's it called, Pogo?
Oh, is he?
He says it definitely doesn't relate to any songs I know. And then he says, Ots the bar weep ninny bar gra. Is that something to do with that? I don't know.
Is that Data says that, doesn't he?
I don't know.
I think it might be. I think, yeah. Oh, yeah, I can't.
Anyway,
I haven't got that in my head this week, so don't put it in my head. Yes.
Few continuity errors. Picard's wine glass level changes all the time during dinner. The direction of sunlight and the scenes of the vineyard keeps changing. I guess it's probably shot at different parts of the day at different locations. Yeah, just calling those out. The other ones haven't happened yet. Oh, also, I mentioned about that Theodore Michael and Samantha Egger. Those 2 guys were also previous, Academy Award nominated performers. This episode is the only time that they've had 2 Academy nominees, other than First Contact was the next thing that had 2 Academy nominees.
Cool. Well, just to finish off Act 3, Marie finds Jean-Luc staring into space. He's amazed that he actually was considering taking the job offer Louis made him. Marie says that's understandable considering what he's been through. Jean-Luc tells her, though, that it's not that. It's not that. It can't be that. Or is it? Or is it what the Borg put him through? She thinks it would be wonderful if he were home for good, and that given time, perhaps he and Robert might actually start to like one another. Jean-Luc says he already likes his brother's taste in wives, thanking her for all the letters that she sends him that make him feel a part of the family. And she tells him he is the family. Louis comes over and tells Jean-Luc that he set up a meeting with the Board of Governors and they want him. They want him to be the head of the project. Raising his voice, Jean-Luc tells him there was never a prospect. But Louis is like, just attend the meeting. If nothing else, just come and listen. And eventually Jean-Luc agrees. So we got some answers. Oh, have we lost Karen? Has Karen gone to sleep to my voice, do you reckon?
Maybe.
We've lost Karen.
Maybe. We do have 3 answers. We have no answer from...
No answer from Mickey either.
Mickey? No, or Kaz.
So maybe they've gone and played Fortnite. They couldn't wait till tomorrow night.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, so the answer is, what food do they cook Worf? And it is Gak from Mickey. Oh, Mickey's still there. Gak from Mickey.
Serenity's answered.
Roqueg blood pie from Stu Plum, blood pie from Sean, and blood pie from Mazza, and blood pie from Serenity Retreat. It is. Ah, no, it's not. I'm afraid it's not. It's Roqueg blood pie. I'm going to give Stu Plum the full points for the full thing. And Sean, Mazza, and Serenity, you all get...
Which is 80.
half points. Or 3/4. 3/4.
60 points. Okay. 80.
Is it a normal cup of tea,
Sean,
Karen, or is it some
180.
sort of herbal